Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists. Hello, I'm Dango Rose, and this is the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening.
And I'm Cynthia Davis. In this week's episode, we catch up with Deb D'Andrea, organizer and owner of the Bazaar Cat Bazaar. She gives us the scoop on developments and plans for this very unique Netherlands-focused festival.
We hear this week's music mentions from Jamie Lammers, and special correspondent Marianne Rosen will share a unique tale about bird watching in Colorado. We also talk to Susan Green, a very nice brewing company, who tells us about the fabulous 4th Friday Art Walk happening July 28th in downtown Netherlands.
And for our final story, Dango speaks to Sarah Mount with Sarah Mount and the Rushmores. She tells us about their upcoming featured performance at the 3rd Annual Netherlands Jazz Wine Fest happening in August.
But first, some news from your neighborhood.
Voting is open for this year's Views from the Top photo contest. You can see all entries both in this week's edition of the Mountaineer newspaper and online. Go to our website and follow the prompt to the page where you can view, vote, and share.
Festival season is in full swing in the mountains. From the Bazaar Cat Bazaar to the NedFest Family Reunion, we now have a full calendar of events featured on our website. Get links and details to other events like the Ned Jazz Wine Fest, Library Story Time, and when our county and city governments meet to discuss important topics. You can find all of these events and more by visiting the Mountaineer website.
The Mountaineer team has begun working on the Fall Taste of the Peaks. If you have a food or beverage-related business, story, idea, or want to submit a local Colorado recipe for inclusion, contact info@themountaineer.com.
Are you interested in public works? The Gilpin County Public Works Department is hiring a heavy equipment operator. Qualified candidates are encouraged to apply at gilpin.county.gov/careers. Join the team. It's guaranteed to be loads and loads of fun.
Read more local news and feature stories in print and online at themountaineer.com.
And that's it for this week's news briefs. If you have something to share, you can send requests for submission to info@themountaineer.com. As long as it meets our community standards, we'll be sure to include it in a future episode. Brightwood Music has been serving the Peak to Peak region and beyond since opening in 2008. The full-service music store offers new and used instruments and will even repair the ones you've got. Go ahead and check them out on Facebook at Brightwood Music. Brightwood Music is the best music store with altitude across the Peak to Peak. For our lead story, Cynthia speaks with Deb D'Andrea about the upcoming festivities associated with the Bazaar Cat Bazaar, honoring the legendary Fred the Mayor.
Hi, Deb. Can you start by introducing yourself to our listeners?
Hi, I'm Deb D'Andrea. I'm owner of the Bazaar Cat Bazaar. Meow!
Deb, when we first spoke a few months ago, you had just started planning the bazaar. Tell us how things have developed since then.
Oh my gosh, so much has come into play. I've been able to work with this wonderful person, and her name, ironically, her nickname is Cat. And she is tapped into a bunch of really amazing performers, international and national, and just really just people that we don't normally have in Netherlands. We've got some great people here. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I want to bring new blood to the festival, and she's had some great contacts, and there's going to be footwalkers and performers and face painters and fortune tellers and just really neat international drumming troupe, and it's just going to be so fun and different. And so Kat's been organizing the performers and getting them on board, and that's just, she's been really valuable. And then Sean of Los Cheesies.
Yes, a lot of folks in town are familiar with Los Cheesies. Tell us more about that.
So I hired Los Cheesies. They're the headlining band. But along with that came Sean, who's the ringleader. And he is phenomenal. He's like, energetically, he's really similar to me, just like Energizer Bunny type. Wake up in the morning, ready to go. Pew! And he ended up, I casually said to him when we were down at Roots, because he helps the Roots organization. It's a nonprofit down in Boulder that does music, and really cool place. And so he's working with them, and I saw him there for a show, and I just casually, and it was after I'd hired Los Cheesies to headline, and I casually said to him, I was like, oh, it'd be really funny if you wrote a cat jingle. And he just looked at me and smiled. And so a little time passed, and then out of the blue, he sends me a cat jingle. And it's the Bazaar Cat Bazaar song. And it is absolutely hilarious. And so then we got to talking, and he came up to Ned, and he dressed up in an outfit, and we shot a video to match the song. And then he's editing it together, and I think he's going to have it finished for me to be able to publish out to the world today or tomorrow. And it is absolutely hilarious. And we shot everything. We shot it at the Carousel of Happiness. We shot it at the Covered Wagon. We were in front of Town Hall shooting next to Fred's grave. And then Reese showed up with her dog, just ad hoc. And then there's video of him playing with the dog. It is really absolutely hilarious video. So this thing has manifested into fun, F-U-N, all caps.
One thing you had mentioned before, you won't be serving alcohol at the festival, rather leaving it up to the local establishments to provide for patrons. But you did tell us there may be a signature mocktail rolled out for the day. How's that coming along?
We don't have a signature yet, but I'm sure that will be completed, and I'll roll that out before the festival kicks off. But I'm feeling really great about everything. I'm like feeling so good that I'm like, okay, what am I missing?
And what can you tell us about the Catastic costume contest and hissing and kissing booth?
So the Catastic Cat costume contest is going to be emceed by the one and only Heather Taylor, and it is going to be absolutely hilarious. First prize is $500. Fourth prize is $1. I'm putting together 3 points of criteria that I'm going to have a couple judges do the judging, and based off of that criteria, and we're going to pick the best costumes and go from there. And for the hissing and kissing booth, my dear friend Dory, who owns Skincare by Dory down in Boulder, she built the whole thing and painted it and designed it and got the chairs and hand wrote the menu that says, oh, a nose bump or a paw hug. It is freaking adorable. It looks like something she designed it off of, I think she said it was like an old 50s carnival kissing booth. And she just it was like, oh, you get a peck on the cheek. It's just fun.
You said everyone can expect to experience a real bizarre and festive event. Tell us more about what you have planned to spice things up.
So it's been so hot, and I was sitting there thinking, I really want to have, not like everything else isn't the wow factor. It's going to look like a bazaar. I've got the flags. I want to dress up the town. It's going to be located where the farmer's market is, in those lots across from Boosty Brews and across from the Ned Vet. And so I'm going to take up those parking lots. Well, it was so hot that I'm like, I think I need to do something huge. And so I ordered an inflatable water slide. So that'll be a surprise.
Deb, from the beginning, you've been open and welcoming to anyone in town that wanted to participate, especially our local businesses. Has anyone else stepped up to get involved?
Jesse of the train cars has been awesome, and he's going to have a kava booth, and he's also going to be doing the cappuccino. I know that Carrie of Trace Gringos said that she was thinking about doing the catarita. And, I'm asking if the restaurants, if places are doing something, just let me know so that I can put, it on the menu. Because I'm not asking anybody to do anything special except for rename something that you already make with the cat theme. And hopefully, everybody in town will dress up like at least with a set of ears and a little tail and just have it be a whole town fun event where everybody just walks around giggling all day.
And tell us more about the big surprise you have in store for fans of Fred the Cat.
I've been building a bunch of cats, and I have smaller cats that I'm going to be auctioning off to help pay for the festival. And I'm going to sign the bottom, Deb DeAndrea 2023 Bazaar, Cat Bazaar. And those I'm going to auction off through, I think I'm going to use eBay. And then I have a bunch of items to do photo ops with. And I'm going to set up a little photo booth area where you can take selfies with your own camera and then share them on social media. The big surprise, I built Fred the Cat. And I made it out of fake fur. And it looks like Fred the Cat. I took the picture and I did the fur and did the whole thing. And I just finished her yesterday. So that's a surprise that nobody's really seen her yet. And she'll be coming out for the Bazaar Cat Bazaar on August 12th. And you can take a picture with Fred the Cat. So I literally have put a lot of love and creativity and energy, not only into building the cats, but the entire vision and thought for community and love of community. And that's really what this is all about.
Deb, for anyone who hasn't heard the story yet of Fred, can you just give us a quick rundown about the feline that inspired this Bazaar Cat Bazaar?
Fred the Cat was here in the late 70s, early 80s. That was the heyday of Nederland. We had the music scene going. Miner Tom was digging for gold. And then we have Fred the Cat, who was voted in, handwritten in, because the townfolk were disheartened with who was running for the board of trustees and whatnot. And so what they do, they handwrote in the stray cat that everybody loved and fed in town. And Fred won. And she had kittens. And she's buried in front of town hall. She's got her moniker. It's really cool.
And please tell everyone where they can go online to learn more about the event or just to get involved.
So you can visit the BazaarCatBazaar.com website. There is a Bazaar Cat Bazaar Facebook site. There's Bazaar Cat Bazaar Instagram. So those are the main social media outlets. But the BazaarCatBazaar.com is, it will take you to those sites. And I'm going to be updating it. I updated it a little while ago, and I'm waiting for the final video to be produced before I update the website again to include that. It's going to be in downtown Nederland, where the farmers market is, on August 12th. It's 10 to 6, but things are really going to start kicking off around 11. I've got a bunch of great vendors, locals that we all know and love, and other fun people that are going to be new to the scene. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. Bring your bathing suit.
Thank you, Deb. It sounds like an event not to miss. Be sure to check our show notes for more information and links to the Bazaar, and also how to find the official music video and song by the one and only Los Cheesies.
Still mining for gold. Down below, where the meadow's open, wind-torn cabin in Aspen Grove. Let us meet by the tree in the meadow, miners planted 100 years ago. South of where the cool creek waters pour from the spring where the waterfall cold. Wind above blew down their homestead, fires raged and the churches burned. Only thing that remains open is the hole in the mountain where the miners stood. And John, still looking for gold. And John, still looking for gold.
Now we go to correspondent Jamie Lammers, who will be delivering this week's Music Mentions.
And now, for this week's Music Mentions. Head to Busey Brews, located at 70 East 1st Street in Nederland on Sunday, July 30th at 2 p.m. to see Kylie Brock performing live. Head to the Canyon Tavern, located at 32138 Highway 72 in Coal Creek Canyon on Friday, July 28th at 7 p.m. for a karaoke night, and on Saturday, July 29th at 7 p.m. to see Chris Koltak performing live. Head to the Gold Hill General Store and Pub, located at 531 Main Street in Gold Hill on Saturday, July 29th at 7 p.m. to see 100 Pound House Cat performing live. Head to the Gold Hill Inn, located at 401 Main Street in Gold Hill on Friday, July 28th at 8 p.m. to see Ginger Bomb performing live, and on Saturday, July 29th at 6 p.m. to see New Family Dog performing live. Head to Howland Wind Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville on Saturday, July 29th at 6 p.m. to see Earth Juice Trio performing live. Head to the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown on Thursday, July 27th at 7 p.m. to see Low 5 performing live, on Friday, July 28th at 7 p.m. to see Hogan and Moss and the Old Weird America performing live, and on Sunday, July 30th at 12:15 p.m. to see Ginger Bomb performing live. Head to JKQ Barbecue, located at 200 Gregory Street in Blackhawk on Friday, July 28th and Saturday, July 29th at 6 p.m. to see Jimmy Lewis performing live. Head to Knotted Root Brewing, located at 250 North Caribou Street in Nederland on Friday, July 28th at 6 p.m. to see the Soul Tones performing live. Also be sure to head there every Sunday at 5 p.m. to see Jazz Sundays with Black Dog and Friends. Head to the Millside Inn, located at 44365 Highway 72 in Ward on Friday, July 28th at 7 p.m. to see Faded Paisley performing live, and on Saturday, July 29th at 7 p.m. to see Rick Lobato performing live. You can also head there most Sundays at 4 p.m. for an open jam. Head to the Train Cars, located at 101 Peak to Peak Highway in Nederland on Friday, July 28th at 5 p.m. for a Dub Days performance with DJ Laser, the 4th Friday edition, and on Saturday, July 29th at 9 p.m. for a Boulis and Beats Encore featuring Bubba Thump, DJ Chris, and Worm. And finally, head to the Very Nice Brewing Company, located at 20 East Lakeview Drive, number 112 in Nederland on Friday, July 28th at 6:30 p.m. to see the Piney Tops performing live, on Saturday, July 29th at 5 p.m. to see C.P. Meyer and Doug Brightwood performing live, and on Sunday, July 30th at 4 p.m. to see Rocky Stiers performing live. Did we miss you or your performances? Want to submit your music listing in the Peak to Peak area? Do you have updates to your business or to your performances? Please call 303-810-5409 or email info@themountaineer.com to be included in the next print edition or the next podcast of The Mountain Ear.
Thank you, Jamie. Now let's drop in with special correspondent Marianne Rosen, who shares a fascinating tale about bird watching in Colorado.
Whether you are a birder, someone who goes out looking for birds, sometimes specific ones, or a bird watcher, someone who enjoys looking at whatever birds are around, or a combination of the two, Colorado is an amazing place in which to do it. Colorado ranks among the top 10 states with the biggest list of birds flitting, flying, nesting, and residing in the state. 519 species were documented in 2022 as having called Colorado home, with only 6 of those not being native. In Boulder County, 419 species were documented. Rocky Mountain National Park has seen at least 280. 191 species have been observed so far this year in Gilpin County, and 98 species have been seen thus far in Nederland in 2023. All of this is especially impressive since Colorado has no ocean coastline, which usually adds to the bird count. It does, however, have a lot of land and many varied habitats. Colorado, being home to foothills, mountains, shrubs, spruce, fir, ponderosa, and pine forests, subalpine, alpine, and tundra areas, cliff faces, scrub oaks, mesa, sagebrush, yucca, shortgrass, prairie, and both woodland and lowland areas, to name just a few, allows Colorado to make the cut. The best time for summer birding is from spring into early August. Early mornings after birds awake from their night's sleep and need to find food, or mid-afternoon when the sun is highest, as birds use the sun for temperature regulation and feather mite control, are especially good times to get out there. Later in August, when mating is over, fledglings have left the nest, and molting begins, birds tend to stop singing and conceal themselves. Birds are apt to sing more to attract mates and to protect their territory and young, which is not necessary in late August. Molting their wing feathers make them less able to escape predators, so late August is definitely a time to hide. While out trying to catch a glance at the amazing, wondrous beauty of these winged creatures, be sure to bring along a really great pair of binoculars, which are a bird watcher's best friend. If you are lucky enough to observe any of the dazzling Colorado birds, one should watch from a distance, stay quiet, and keep groups small. If you are viewing birds at feeders, be sure to check that it is allowed, maintain a distance from houses, and avoid pointing binoculars toward any house windows. When seeking out great places to look for or see birds, Rocky Mountain National Park has a stunning plenitude of low and high altitude species. In Boulder, check out Walden Pond's wildlife habitat. And closer to home, head out to the Barker Reservoir, Central City Reservoir, Caribou Pass Trail, the Hesse Trailhead, Mud Lake, Lake Isabel, and Golden Gate Canyon, among other areas, which you can find online. Some of the birds seen in the area this year have been broad-tailed hummingbirds, black-bellied magpies, yellow-rumped warblers, red crossbills, white-throated sparrows, and mountain chickadees. Check out ebird.org for a complete list for whichever area you are interested in. 10 interesting bird facts about Colorado are, beginning with a very, very sad one, that a highly pathogenic avian influenza has unfortunately killed more than 12,000 wild birds in the state to date. Next is that the lark bunting is Colorado's state bird. The American robin is the most common bird in the state, and the Gunnison sage grouse the rarest. Supposedly, the Chatfield Reservoir is the best place to see eagles. That the largest bird of prey in Colorado is the ferruginous hawk. Herring gulls are the seagulls of the state. The barred owl sounds like a monkey. Cardinals are not often seen in Colorado, as the state does not have forests where there are thick viney tangles where cardinals like to nest. That you can volunteer with the Bird Conservancy of the Rockies to count eagles from January through July. And last, the 10 birds that the Audubon Society lists as the must-sees in Colorado are the white-tailed ptarmigan, the mountain bluebird, the western tanager, sandhill cranes, the burrowing owl, the hooded merganser, bald eagles, wild turkeys, peregrine falcons, and the calliope hummingbird. So grab your binoculars and set out to look for and watch nature's winged charmers.
If you are a visual artist in the Peak to Peak area and want to include your studio, gallery, or workspace in the fall Peak to Peak Studio Tour, then go to themountaineer.com and sign up today. It is free to join, and artists will showcase their finest work to visitors and art lovers in all autumn splendor. Again, to sign up, visit themountaineer.com and follow the links to the Peak to Peak Studio Tour.
For our next segment, Jamie Lammers interviews Susan Green from the Very Nice Brewing Company. They talk about the upcoming 4th Friday Art Walk taking place on July 28th in the Caribou Village Shopping Center.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and today I'm going to be interviewing somebody who has been helping to promote the 4th Friday Art Walk coming up soon. Do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Yeah, my name is Susan Green, and me and my husband, Jeffrey Green, own the Very Nice Brewing Company in Netherlands.
So can you talk a little bit about the 4th Friday Art Walk?
Yeah, the 4th Friday Art Walk at the Caribou Village Shopping Center in Netherlands was started last year by Roz at the Kaleidoscope Art Gallery in the shopping center. And I'm just trying to help out this year and keep it going.
Can you explain the primary purpose behind the 4th Friday Art Walk?
Yeah, it's just trying to get people to come to our shopping center by having our tenants in the shopping center host events. For example, us at Very Nice Brewing Company, we do live music. We have vendors on our sidewalk selling their goods. This coming 4th Friday, we'll have our local honey guy and another local company, Peace, Love, and Cake, and also our local artist, Lisa Navarre, who is a watercolor artist. Her paintings are hung at our brewery, and she'll be setting up her artwork outside on the sidewalk also. And other tenants in the past have done such things as art demonstrations. The winery this year is doing a murder mystery game. Brightwood Music, they do things such as string demonstrations. Just fun stuff like that. So the tenants get involved and we advertise what they're doing, and hopefully that draws people to our shopping center to take a look around. And while they're doing that, hopefully stop in the restaurants that we have, the winery, the brewery, all the stores that we have there, and just take a look around and enjoy themselves.
And I'm assuming correctly that the 4th Friday Art Walk refers to the fact that it takes place every 4th Friday of the month, right?
Yes, so that's going to go until September this year.
How long does the Art Walk last?
We start around 4 or 5, and it lasts until about 8 o'clock or so. Each tenant at the shopping center depends on just what they're doing. For example, the Carousel of Happiness, they are staying open later that night until 7 p.m. Brightwood Music, they're staying open later that night until at least 7 p.m. So it just depends. Some of these places close a little bit earlier during their regular hours, and on the 4th Friday, they're going to be staying open later. And so it just depends on the individual business, but most are starting around 4 p.m.
Who's in charge of organizing this event?
Well, like I said, last year it was Roz at the gallery. And this year I'm just kind of rallying everybody and sending out emails and asking what they're doing and trying to get out the marketing on social media. And so I guess in a way I'm kind of organizing it this year, but it takes everyone to participate and work together and make it a successful event.
What has been most rewarding to you about being able to promote this event this year?
Oh, I just love seeing the busyness of our shopping mall. It's just nice to see people walk around and walking down the sidewalk and stopping and taking a peek in at what everybody's doing. And it's just been great to see what the tenants are coming up with for their activities and special events. And it's just been a blast. And for us at Very Nice Brewing, it's fun to have our vendors on the sidewalk and just have the busyness out there and having our vendors be successful and getting their work out there. And we have a lot of tourists in summer, so it's nice to have the vendors out there in our small little town have more exposure to their work, especially if they don't have a storefront. So it's been nice just to see more people coming to see us.
And what do you hope the people are able to take away from this experience?
Just Netherlands is a nice little town to visit, and there's lots of artists and bakers and creators that we have in our town. And I'm hoping that this is just a way to get more exposure for them.
We've covered a lot of ground in such a short amount of time. Is there anything else I missed?
No, just come on up and check out the Fourth Fridays. This is our second year, and hopefully each year it just grows to be bigger and better each year.
Thank you so much to Susan for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. If you want to head to the Fourth Friday Art Walk, be sure to head to Nederland, Colorado on July 28th, 2023, and check in with each individual business to see when they're opening for the event.
That was a piece of Living on Denver Time by Sarah Mount and the Rushmores. Now, Dango speaks with saxophone extraordinaire Sarah Mount about the Jazz Fusion Group's upcoming performance at the 3rd Annual Ned Jazz Wine Fest taking place in August.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining us today. Can you start by introducing yourself for our listeners?
Sure. My name is Sarah Mount, and I am a local sax player in Denver.
And can you tell us the name of your band that's going to be appearing at the Ned Jazz Wine Fest?
My band is called Sarah Mount and the Rushmores.
And for those who have never listened to your music, how would you best describe it?
I usually go with neo-soul funk. It's kind of a groove band. It's always hard to pinpoint because, at this point, most of us are out here kind of just doing fusion,
Sarah, can you give us a little insight as to what people might expect to hear at your upcoming mountain performance?
You know what? We're actually doing something super special. We typically have a vocalist, but we are foregoing vocals. So we're going to be 2 saxes, and then we are going to be just, your rather regular rhythm section. And then we have some brand new songs, like original songs we're going to come out there with, and stuff that we have been playing for years. And then we're going to do some jazz standards. We're going to do our own take on some beloved songs.
And have you played up here before?
I have. I was doing Frozen Dead Guy days like every year before COVID happened with different groups.
And are you familiar with the music culture of this region, Netherlands specifically?
Yeah. It's definitely a very special place, and I mean that in the best of ways. It's just got its own energy, that's for sure.
Sarah, can you tell us where people can hear your music and find out more about the band?
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I would love if you all are interested in hearing us. You can check us out on any streaming platform, whichever is your favorite. Sarah Mount and the Rushmores. We are also on social media, Instagram and Facebook. And if you are in Denver or feel like, making a trip for those mountain listeners, we are the Dazzle resident artist since 2021. So we do have a show in Denver at Dazzle the night before we come on out and do Ned Jazz Fest. So, we can check that out as well. So there's lots of places you can find us, and we would love it.
Thank you, Sarah. We are all looking forward to hearing you play. Be sure to check out our show notes for additional information and links to more music from the 2023 Ned Jazz Wine Fest lineup.
That concludes this week's episode of the Mountain Air Podcast, where everybody's listening.
Visit our website at www.themountaineer.com to read more information about today's guests. Pick up a copy of this week's print edition of The Mountaineer at newsstands all across the Peak to Peak. I'm Dango Rose.
And I'm Cynthia Davis. Thank you for listening.
You name it, we got it.
You know, up here in the mountains, things are weird.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak-to-Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.